Hi friends, my name is Kat Kerr and I'm a mixed media artist from Central Florida, and I'm also a new licensed designer for Sizzix. Now I'm excited to share a new collaboration between Sizzix and the color giant Royal Talens. Now you might recognize some of their brands like Amsterdam acrylic paints, Ecoline markers, Van Gogh watercolors, to name a few. Now in this collaboration, these two giants have teamed up to create Sizzix Studio. Now Sizzix Studio is geared for that artist that wants to take their creativity to the next level. They have an assortment of tools, including the new registration tool and some other goodies, and this is where I come in. Now, artist Vic Hollins and I have been invited to design new sets to go with this new Sizzix Studio line. This is one of the sets, and each set includes 3 stencils and 1 complete stamp set. I know, 3 stencils and 1 complete stamp set. There's so much you can do with this. Now in today's project, I'm going to go a little dimensional, and I'm going to be using my visitor set to do that. Now I hope that you check out the new Sizzix Studio line. It's a wonderful collaboration between Sizzix and Royal Talens. But for now, let's go ahead and play. Now today we're going to be creating this free bird shadow box. I think it came out lovely. I'm excited to share this with you. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create some backgrounds so that we can cover our shadow box with. And usually when I am creating backgrounds, I'll go for a heavier stock paper, but today, because I know that I am going to be covering a shadow box and I want the paper to be somewhat flexible, I'm using a simple copy paper. Now, as you can see, I've pulled out some Amsterdam acrylic paints as well as a Talens palette. I have my stamp and stencil set, and I'm using the brayer from the Sizzix Effects tool set. I love this brayer. I love the head on it. It's got a nice silicone head so the paint doesn't really cake up on it. And I love it. And so the backgrounds, I'm not even thinking. I picked out some colors that are not going to create mud. I'm using this beautiful yellow with this lime green, and I'm just mixing the colors together. I'm adding a little bit of neon orange, and I'm not intentionally covering the entire page because I do want some of that white to stand out, even though I'll end up covering it later on. But for now, I'm just putting paint on the page. Now, I always have trouble wasting paint, and so I'm going to take that leftover paint that's on that palette. I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit of water and place it directly onto my background page, just so I can use up every last bit of that goodness. Next, I'm going to switch out the head on my Sizzix Effects tool. I love this thing. I can't live without it. Just got to throw it out there. Because I use it all the time. So I ended up adding the blending tool, and I pulled out my registration press as well as the stencil adapter. Now, one of the things about these designs, this particular set of designs, is that there are holes on all 4 sides, which I absolutely love. Because I am constantly rotating my stencils, and so I love having that option. But I also love using the registration press because it's great. I don't really have to worry about aligning it perfectly or anything like that. But I also love rotating the stencils, so this allows me to do both, and I love it. Now, as far as the placement of the stencils, again, I'm not thinking, I'm creating backgrounds, I'm just having fun here. So I picked out a beautiful color, I'm using that blending tool, I'm applying the design wherever makes me happy, and I'm just having fun. Now each set comes with 3 different stencils, and my intention was not to have 3 stencils with the same shapes to layer on top of each other. I know that that can definitely be a beautiful look, but what I was looking for was something a little bit more textural. I wanted a little bit more dimension, and I think that one way to achieve that is by actually using different shapes. So I wanted all of the shapes to be different, and you can still layer them on top of one another. They just It just adds a little bit of a organic look to it, which is what I was hoping for. Now I do want you to take note of how I am applying the paint through the stencil. Again, the keyword is organic, and so I'm not trying to get a perfect impression. I don't mind if one area has a heavy paint and the other area does not. Totally okay with that. Okay, I've picked out another stencil as well as another color of acrylic paint, and I've also switched out the head on the blender tool, and I'm just filling up the areas that are blank, that are still left on the page. So there's a lot of white space left, and I'm just focusing on those. Now, whenever I'm creating backgrounds, I usually start the same way. I really don't like to focus too much on the shapes that I'm using or even the colors. And I just want to pick whatever appeals to me in that moment. And even though I do that, I reach a point where I have to get all of these individual components, all of these individual elements to work together. And one way that I do that on the background is by covering it completely in a transparent color. Even though I used different colors, I don't necessarily want to lose those colors, but by overlaying it with a transparent color, I'm making new colors that all blend harmoniously. And so that's what I did in this case. I picked out a transparent color, and I'm just using my blending tool to cover the entire page. Now, another way to bring all of the elements together is by finishing with either black or white. So here I just am adding some splatters of white acrylic ink. Now that I have my backgrounds ready to go, I'm going to focus on the box. And today I'm actually using this Eileen Hult's Sizzix die, and it's called Treasure Box, but I'm actually only using the lid. And I'm also using some foam board from Sizzix, but before I cut it through the Big Shot, I'm actually going to apply my background. Here I'm using a sheet of double tack dry adhesive film so that I can attach one of my background pages to the foam board, and then I can run it through the machine. Here I've cut some strips of that double tack dry adhesive, and I'm going to use that to assemble the box. Next, I add some black acrylic paint to the outside of the box, as well as some seed beads and glitter to the inside, and then I'm going to put this aside to dry. Next, I'm going to stamp the images that I need for the project. Here I picked out the butterfly trio, and I'm not sure at this point how many butterflies I'm going to use in the box itself, so I just end up stamping it twice. But you can see this is what I love about the registration press. I don't always get a perfect image right from the start, and so it's nice being able to just stamp it in the same exact position. Next, I took a piece of wet media Duralar and I'm going to stamp these images on top of that wet media Duralar, but I wanted to ensure that they would be in the position that I wanted. This piece of plastic is actually going to be the top layer of the shadow box. I really wanted to create some dimension with it, and so I did trace the shadow box in that red line so that I knew where the edges of the box would be and I knew where to place my stamps. Next, I'm going to add some color, and for the butterflies, I'm using some Ecoline markers, and for the wet media Duralar, I am going to use some acrylic paint, and then when that first layer of acrylic paint dries, I'm going to cover it in a white acrylic paint so that the colors really pop. Now that I have all of my components, I can start figuring out the placement, and once I do, I just start to adhere the butterflies in their position, and I also add some string behind the bird in flight. I wanted some additional texture there. Now, in order for me to attach that piece of wet media Duralar to the top, I need to create these little corner pieces, and I took a thick cardstock and I added that double tack dry adhesive film to both the front and the back, and I removed the back layer, attached it to the box, and then when I was ready to attach that transparent film, I removed the protective layer on the top and then put it into place. I trimmed around the border of the plastic as well as adding some white acrylic ink splatters. Lastly, I added that background around the outside of the box, and then I created these new corner pieces. I felt like I needed a little bit more yellow, and so I took one of my stamps as well as this scrap piece of paper that I had created in the beginning, and I just used this to cut out the same shape as the corner pieces just so I could bring it all together. I'm thrilled with how this shadow box came out. It is full of dimension and I love every single layer. Now make sure you check out that Sizzix Studio line. It's jam-packed and full of possibility. Thanks for watching.